This is an 18, so I like to fish 14s, 16s, 18s in this pattern. I do have some 20s that I tie, but you can also add weight to it on the and cram it up into that behind the bead. But yeah, you're looking at, you know, a little bit more money than you would have invested in just a regular hook and a brass bead. So it's kind of, you know, I don't tie a whole lot of these, but it's there if I need it to hit those certain fish that you just can't get to. You can't throw a nymph rig in there because, again, the little slot that they're in is about this wide, or this long by about this wide, and you just can't put your indicator and two nymphs and however many split shots because it gets hung up as it hits the water, whatever. So that's where this one comes in. Again, I'm just using that hen hackle or hen neck just as a tail. So just secure it. Okay, and then black, same, that wire. Did I pass that along around that wire? Yeah. So I'm just going to use that same piece that I had earlier. That's going to be for the rib. Okay, so just tie that down. See how flossy that is right there? So, and that's what I want right now as I come back down this hook shank and then just kind of build that body. Sometimes it gets so flossy that I can't control it, but you just want to kind of build that body up nice and flat up there, and then just make your rib. And the reason I use the black is because it kind of contrasts that red really well. And just break that off. I never use the tips of my scissors to clip stuff like that, especially if you can break it. And then I was using, and you could, I still do, using the Mirage Opal tinsel for the wing case. But this stuff, this is that Lagarton. Again, this is high dollar. The spool was $6, but it's really cool. So once you start throwing all these things, you know, your fly's getting to be a $4 fly. But
can't afford to fish it because I can't
right.
afford to lose it.
You look pretty in your box.
But it looks nice.
It looks pretty in your box, but man, I don't know if I want to use it. Okay, so you can see that that's made up with just a bunch of different strands, kind of interwoven. This is what I use for Sparkle Wing RS2s. So I just tie that in as the wing case. And on this fly, it works really well because it you know, you can stretch it a little bit and it thins out a little bit, or you can kind of leave it a little bit wider. So now I'm getting real fancy with my materials, and my cost per fly is going up. And I think I have some Peacock. I started throwing in patterns kind of at the last second, but I got Peacock here. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that as the thorax. On those other flies, I'm dubbing them, and so those ones are a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. This one's going to be a little bit prettier, I guess you could say, with the fancy hook and the thread and the Peacock. So just get a couple strands of those, tie that in. And again, just, you know, good quality materials. Your Peacock, you know, I got some Peacock at home that just, I mean, the fuzz, the material's really thin on one side, and on the other it's gone. What you want to do is have something like these ones here. They're real bushy. You can always pick ones that are bushier than others, but you want to have some length in them, some certain amount of length for that thorax. So just tie those in, tie a few, tie it there, and then again I come back with my hen, the one I used earlier, and what I do is I strip off either from the sides, or you can cut a notch in them if you want. A lot of times I'll just kind of strip off the sides here, line them up. Well, what I do first is I strip them so that they have the equal amounts on both sides, okay, and then pull off a good amount, tie them in on the sides here, put a wrap or two just to kind of place them. You can see that they're kind of pointed up. I can come down with my fingernail and just kind of roll them almost so that it goes down, and then I can pull this to get them to length, okay? And then I just repeat on the other side. Just lay them. Now I can measure this one. I can match it the same length as I did the first set. Just lay it on the front side, put a wrap or two, and then just, if I need to, adjust them. Kind of adjust and pull them out. Now, the only thing I noticed with this Peacock is that those legs kind of get buried within, can't cut that, within those, you know, kind of get mixed up with all those Peacock curls. And then just bring this over. Sometimes I like a bigger thorax. That's why I started using dubbing, is to get that thorax a little bit bigger, because you can see right here it you know, pulls over and it's kind of thin. There's a big gap behind the bead in the wing case. That's the only thing on these Peacock ones, is that it doesn't get so full. You have to keep wrapping and wrapping. Pretty soon you get into that thick butt of the Peacock where all you see is the stem. And, so on this pattern, that's what's happening here. So I just flatten out my thread here, and then put a few wraps right behind the bead there. And this pattern, or this particular fly, it doesn't look that great, but you know, I like to have a little more of that thorax, a little fluffier. And then what I do is I put epoxy on it, and I can do that if somebody's willing to go out and hit it in the sun. I can put some of this.
I got a little light.
Do you have a light?
See my set of tools there?
Yeah, right here.
There you go.
Okay. Little UV. But I'll just put a little bit on that, and let me try to find it. And it gives it that, you know, like on the copper john, if you time without that, and if you put it with, or if you time and you don't put epoxy on it, it looks okay. But when you put that epoxy on it, it really gives it that look. So this is knot sense, UV knot sense. I prefer epoxy because this stuff will peel off. Let me see, little needle or something.
For the needle.
Yeah. But I'm just going to place a little on there.
That's daring.
Can you use the top of that head?
Yeah, it is, huh?
maybe? So do you want that on, just on the back?
Just on the wing
Covering-
case, yeah.
Just on the wing case, okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
And then you can get down into the
With this here.
to thread, you know, get down on the back a little bit to cover up some of those and reinforce those the wraps of wire and the thread, so it doesn't get chewed up as much. And then this is just that UV,
Set it up.
yeah, just to set it. And then on that glossy back, I do the same thing. Well, this is actually it. I got confused.
You can be like me and flash it in everybody's eyes.
Put it in the camera.
I got kind of a wiper fly and I just like straight across.
So why do you like epoxy instead of that?
It's epoxy. I mean, hardens, and it's hard. It's tough. It's